There are many resources out there, and I encourage folks, people I see, to find those resources. If you have an internet connection, you have resources. If you have friends, they have resources. There's a great book out there that is sort of 50 questions to ask my oncologist. So there's a lot of things you can think of. I would encourage you to write them down, almost like you have a diary, and write down these questions. Some of them will be answered in the context of discussion, but other times there will be lingering questions. Sometimes the questions, as you know, as we all know, are relevant, and some of them are less relevant. And I will tell patients straight out when they ask me a question, you know, I can tell you an answer, it's pure speculation, I don't know about this or this. Usually, you'll be obsessive compulsive, and if I say, hey, monitor if you're having any side effects, some patients are filling out everything that occurs, and that's fine. It also reminds us that you're going to have day-to-day issues even if you didn't have cancer. We're all people. We all live in environments. You can have back pain and other things. So I think what happens is when we get this diagnosis with cancer, you feel almost dehumanized from it. You think, oh my gosh, everything's about the chemo, everything's about the cancer. You're still a person. You still have a life. You should interact with those things and keep track of stuff. And ask your providers, put them on piece of papers. You know, ask them, you know, ask them about diet. That's a thing that I'll get a lot of questions about. Medications you can take. They need to know what vitamins you're taking or other supplements, because sometimes those can interact with the drugs they're administering. They need to know if you have certain physical activities that you're doing. One of my patients liked to ride horses. I started her on cytotoxic chemotherapy. I said, I don't think you should ride your horse right now, because if you fall and break a bone, that's going to really sort of put us behind the 8 ball as far as treatment. So I'm not encouraging her not to spend time with her horse. I would just prefer that she be very cautious. Rock climbing is another thing that I don't like people doing when they're on chemotherapy. I had a patient who took a chainsaw out and was cutting trees down. Again, there are certain activities that we can sort of change, you know, and maybe modify. Swimming, great. You know, taking walks, walking your dog, you know, a lot of things like that. So it is important to have communication with your treatment team. It doesn't have to be your oncologist. It could be the nurse or anyone else, and the pharmacist, but let them know these types of things. And it's fair to ask your oncologist, you know, how will I feel? What will be the outcome? And they'll say, they're not God. They won't be able to predict how things are going to go, but we're going to hope for the best and work together.